healers, it helps a lot with keeping everyone alive. One of the mechanics in that shield phase that we did not mention, there's a debuff that goes out on, I think, 2 or 3 players at a time that drains their mana, and that mana is added back to the boss. So you want to dispel that as soon as possible, but when you dispel that, it I think deals damage to everyone around you, so there becomes a question. It's either damage or I can't remember if it's...
And that's the mythic mechanic, is it?
No, that one actually shows up on Heroic.
Okay.
The mythic mechanic is, yeah,
similar to that.
Forgot to mention this. So the mythic mechanic is that there is a curse that goes out on every member of the raid. You can see it on the weak aura, just disappeared.
Yeah.
Every member of the raid gets a curse that, when removed, deals damage to the entire raid. Now, it's not a lot of damage, but if you move into these zones on the ground that silence you, it removes that. So there's probably going to be some staggering of when those dispels go out. It's a curse effect. Only 3 classes, I believe, can dispel curses: druids, mages, and shamans. So you can singly dispel them with those classes, or you can move into the zones on the ground to dispel it, but it will do a bit of damage to the entire raid. And should everyone get dispelled at the same time, like when the Stygian Annihilation comes out, if everyone moves into the zone and no one has been dispelled at that point, you will all pop. And I think it does like 35,000 damage per player.
Yep.
So across, if you had all 20 members do it at the same time, you would expect to be hit for 700,000 damage, which would be a lot of damage. So you're probably going to have people stagger when those dispels are coming out, and make sure that you're not all getting hit at one time.
So we're transitioning.
All right, so we are now moving into the obsidian shatter phase, and the boss now needs to be DPS down. And this is where you can see the HPS requirements are substantial. Now we're going to see the orbs coming out, and this right here, this big circle, you're going to want to drag this into the raid and hit as many people with this as possible. This regens mana and gives an HPS buff, which is going to help the healers quite a bit in making sure to heal through the DPS. I'm sure some of last attempt was the DPS getting a feel for just how Mongo they could go in this phase without killing themselves.
Yep.
So I'm sure there was a little bit of, I'll just go all out and see if I can get away with it. If I can't, then I'll dial it back a little bit. You can get a good sense for how much single target damage a class does by how quickly their health bar is moving right now, as I believe it is a 100% damage reflect. So what you're seeing in damage to the players right now is how much damage they are dealing to the boss. So they broke the shield, and they have Maut now at about 53%. So I think you'll have to do 2 phases of the shield in order to kill Maut. There you see the void zone get dropped on the ground. Now all those get cleared after each obsidian shield, but you want to make sure that one of those is close to the melee pile so that they can dip in it quickly without having to move too far. But otherwise, you want to keep one close to your DPS, but you want to get all the rest of them out so that you're not getting cramped with those. And then you want to make sure that you stagger the removal of the curses so that you're not like one-shotting people in the raid. And otherwise, it's basically just jump in the circle when the big AoE happens and make sure that you're tanking the adds and burning those quickly. And then as Maut eats those adds, they add back to his mana. So you want to make sure to get the adds. I think they give back less mana the more that you... Well, and hold on, I want to point out the weak aura that you see here at the top is the curse. So the curses come out. It has 15 seconds left on it, and you're seeing a bunch of damage come out on the raid, I think, as each of those curses is dispelled. And when you dip into the pool, it removes that curse, so you want to make sure that people are not about to get...
Still do the damage when you get in from the area. So, I mean, if you've done it on Heroic, it's essentially the same sort of movement, pretty much. I mean, there's no extra apart from
the fight is virtually identical to Heroic in terms of the mechanics.
Yeah.
All right, so getting the second Obsidian Shatter phase, and the boss is at how much?
He's at 23 and is
okay. So they brought him in at 23%. So definitely looking at unless you could suddenly summon a ton more DPS between these phases. Definitely looking at a fight that's going to require you to break the shield twice.
Yep.
But seeing everybody DPS the shield down,
pretty close. I mean. That is his mana bar, isn't it? Just underneath the...
Yes, and that's what you're trying to do is you have to drain his mana bar by dealing damage to him. And you can see there on the boss bar, the timer on it, they've got about 20 seconds left to deplete the mana. So it's not looking like it'll be a particularly tight push here, but certainly the amount of damage they're dealing to the boss requires quite a bit of healing. So you want to make sure that your healers are saving cooldowns for this phase and able to push out a ton of HPS.
Yep.
And so the remainder of this boss fight should be pretty easy.
Unless something terrible goes wrong.
Yeah, unless they've figured out a new way to wipe themselves. The short of everyone dispelling themselves with this curse right now, I think the fight's pretty much done. So just want to make sure you don't kill yourself now with the new mythic curse, and otherwise this boss should fall over again on the second pull. So whereas I think in Eternal Palace we saw the first 3 bosses all pretty much one-shot, in this raid, it appears that the cool thing to do is 2-shot all the bosses.
That's awesome. That is going to be world first 3 out of 12.
All right, so world first 3 out of 12, setting the pace here.
Incredible.
At Take TV here in Germany, we will count our chickens before they hatch and call this a world first mod kill. 3 out of 12.
I was there, Pog. 3 out of 12.
So we have now cleared the first wing of Ny'alotha.